We're live from New York, baby! We're live from New York, let's go, boys! It's not about the money, Spider-Man, it's about the Mets, baby! What is it about?
The Mets.
What is it about?
The Mets.
We just got back from probably, I think, maybe one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. It is the best Marvel movie by far. It is the best MCU movie. We just got done seeing Spider-Man No Way Home, and we're going to give it a quick review. We just got out of the theater. We just drove home. We're packed full of energy from that insane premiere. Be warned, though, this review is going to have all the spoilers.
All of them.
All of them.
Anything out, like, this movie's full of them.
If you haven't been on Twitter or Instagram and had the UK bean spillers just spoil it for you, it's ridiculous. Like, you'll go to an Instagram comment on a post about, I don't know, like baskets, and you'll just go click on a reply. So-and-so is dead, so-and-so, this happens, this shows up. People who do that, by the way, just the bottom, like, cesspool of society. Like, people who don't even walk outside. We don't even get to see them walk among regular humans. But it's okay. It's okay. I didn't see any of those. I wasn't spoiled on anything. Like I said, we're just gonna hop into spoilers right now. I've warned you. So if you get spoiled from this video, you're not allowed to be mad at me. Aunt May is dead as hell.
Yo, Aunt May is dead.
She is so dead, and I saw that from a mile away because, you know, in every Spider-Man trilogy, every Spider-Man arc ever, around the, like, second or third movie point, Aunt May's gotta die.
Tom needed his on-screen, like, character death, like, big.
And
like,
it wasn't gonna be Zendaya.
No.
Of course not. I mean, she's way too valuable of a character. They didn't miss except for one thing. I told them this in the car, my only criticism of this movie is that they did not do the Spider-Man meme format when they're all just, like, looking at each other and staring.
Told me they did, but I didn't catch it on screen, so, like, if it's wrong.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I left to go and, like, pee. I swear I was gone for 15 seconds. I ran like a track star. Hayden told me I missed just this quick little funny scene of Tobey, like, using his web slinger, or they were talking about
his like blood web, and then everyone was also like, "What? I need web shooters to do."
Yeah, because both Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland Spider-Man, they use web shooters,
which is I believe that's the comic accurate.
Yeah, most Spider-Men in the comics require, like, extra technology to use web shooters, but
for some reason Tobey Maguire he's just different like that.
He's cracked. He's the first Spider-Man, so you get special powers.
Spoiler review that this movie was, like, the funniest and the most emotional and, like, the coolest MCU movie, and, like, I was like, there's no way it did all three at once. And
it did.
Low key did.
It did.
High key did.
At the end, Spider-Man needs to make the decision to basically save the fabric of space and time. He needs to tell Doctor Strange to actually make everybody forget him, so him, MJ, and his friend can have, like, a normal life.
It was actually deeper the second time he requested the spell, because the first one was forget that Spider-Man is Peter Parker, not everyone forget who Peter Parker is. The second time, no one even knows he exists. Peter Parker is actually, like, on. There
was this really powerful scene at the end of the movie where Peter Parker has to go up to MJ, his best friend Ned, and then also, who's Jon Favreau's character? What's his name? Happy. He goes up to all of them, and none of them know that he exists. And you can see there's this part where he looks at MJ's bandage that she got in the climactic fight, and I could tell from a mile away, this dude is going to let them forget about him, at least for a while. I don't want to put them in a situation like that again so soon, but at the same time, I fear that Peter Parker's gonna get his girl stolen, bro. Next movie, she's gonna have a little boy toy because she forgot about Peter. It's gonna be so sad. Peter's gonna have to go steal his girl, but at the same time, bro, come on, you're Spider-Man.
Yeah, no.
Bro, just go get your girl.
Venom got his girl stolen. He just took the L. Nah, Spider-Man don't do this.
Dude, I'm just saying, like, you just have to pull up with the web slinger, like,
Spider-Man. Like,
you could have anybody's girl at that point. At the end of the movie, it was pizza time.
It was pizza time.
He was going in that little broke-ass apartment like Tobey Maguire. Have you seen the original Spider-Man movies with Tobey? No. Okay, you need to go back and watch. Those are the ones that I watched growing up. Tobey Maguire's like my Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield stepped out of the portal, and everybody in the theater was, like, clapping. They went crazy. But you could tell everybody's waiting for Tobey. Dude, when Tobey came out of the portal, Dane, that was amazing.
I could not even hear.
It's Tobey, bro.
It's Tobey, dude. I was so surprised after seeing this movie how much I liked Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Like, I almost want them to go back and give them one, like, more movies in their own verses. Like, bro, it would be so cool, and they have the money to do it if they gave both Tobey and Andrew, like, one more movie. The conclusion of this movie is that Tom Holland is, like, the god Spider-Man who brought them all together, and, like, they They exchanged love.
Let me get the mic, bro. If you still hate Tom Holland after this movie, you are a chump. You're a chump. I'm gonna say, like, what he ranks. I don't think ranking the Spider-Man is even worth it after this movie, but, like, in my head, he's number one.
He's the Messiah Spider-Man.
He's literally the god Spider-Man.
Every fight in this movie was great. Every villain entrance in this movie was great.
Like, this movie just
Electro,
delivered on every front.
a Doc Ock, there was no disappointment.
The redesigns, Electro's new design, dude, the chemistry not only of all three Spider-Man, and like how they were like just cracking jokes, but like when the villains were in the lab and like the lair and in Doctor Strange's lair, they're all like cracking jokes. It was so funny.
Dan, you were about to tell me your favorite scene in the car. What was your favorite scene?
When he was opening the portals, and then like they said, "Peter, come here," and it was just like, and they just ran into the portal. Or
Andrew
when,
Garfield?
Yeah. Or when they all like lined up with each other, and it was like a perspective scene of all of them next to each other,
Dude.
like crouched down.
Landed on that, like the Statue of Liberty.
Oh,
Dude, that was cold.
all these three Spider-Men together was so symbolic. Like, it does not matter what kind of opinions you have about their movies in general. Seeing them come together and seeing them behave like this.
Their characters, like, fundamentally, like, how they act, they were done so much justice. If you can ignore their individual movies, this movie it does them all really good justice. They're all really nice Spider-Man to watch. They're all great on screen.
Tobey Maguire was my Spider-Man. I watched Spider-Man 1 at least 100 times on DVD. Watching William Dafoe actually come and be like the villain that I expected him to be, they did not compromise for any of the villains. Anyone on
They
there.
went hard everywhere.
Every dude, like, I was not disappointed for a single one. Also, Daredevil is now in the MCU. That's crazy.
How the movie, like, starts off. It throws a banger at you.
Just right then. Just right off the back, it's really important that Daredevil has now joined the MCU. Daredevil was not produced by Disney. It was like a Netflix series back before Disney even probably bought Marvel. And so they kind of canceled all of the Netflix shows. That's like the Iron Fist. Punisher might be one as well. One of the ongoing series when Disney bought Marvel. And so all of those shows were retconned. They're fake. They weren't going to continue them. But now seeing the Daredevil actor show up in this movie, which is something that people are anticipating for, and seeing it actually happen on screen was so dope. He caught this brick.
Tom Holland was like, "How did you do that?"
Yeah, how are you able to do that? And he's like, I'm a really good lawyer. That was such a sick scene. It was such a sick scene. Andrew Garfield is great. His Spider-Man, for some reason, like, touched me. Everybody, including me, gives Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man the most shit. He was almost like my favorite Spider-Man in this movie.
They all were, dude. Like, they were all my favorite Spider-Man at some point in the movie.
Bro, like, he was just such a personable, lovable, and kind of funny Spider-Man compared to the other ones. I haven't actually, like, fully watched the Andrew Garfield movies through, so I don't know if his Spider-Man was that goofy in those movies, but they just made him like a parody character.
A lot of people have with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is that he's like, or at least his Peter Parker is like really cool. When Peter Parker's supposed to be a nerd,
Yeah.
but he's in high school crossing up Flash in basketball. You've probably seen that scene where he like dunks on him. Everyone's like, "What? This dude's way too cool to be Peter Parker." But like honestly, in this movie, he was written really well.
Yeah,
and his character
he was
is
almost
sick.
like vulnerable and a little bit geeky and nerdy. He's like, I love you guys.
Low key, I hate so much on the other two Spider-Man. Not as much as Andrew, but like I don't mess with Tobey's suit like that. But dude, in this movie, it looks so cold.
You actually cannot tell me that you don't mess with Tobey's suit. Tobey's suit's the best. Like,
I don't.
Dude, Tom Holland's spider suit is literally like nanites, and it has Doc Ock arms that were able to compete with Doc Ock.
Yeah.
I don't care. Tobey Maguire's classic Spider-Man suit is like low-key the best. When there was this dope scene, and it was hilarious when Andrew Garfield actually goes and cracks Tobey Maguire's back. You can see them flexing like their dope-ass Spider-Man suits. The Spider-Man suits look so good.
My new favorite suit definitely got to be the one at the end. That's the best Spider-Man suit in cinematic.
At the end of the movie, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, he decides that he's going to be Spider-Man for a little while and just be independent and, you know...
Designs his very own suit, like the classic Spider-Man making the suit with the sewing machine and the blue and the red. It was crazy.
Kane tells me that it is like a recurring criticism that Tom Holland doesn't make his own suit and he's just kind of babied, but now we're seeing Tom Holland step up to the plate.
Yeah, he's independent and he's his own Spider-Man now. He's doing, my favorite thing is seeing Spider-Man look at the phone and there's like the police, he's on the police line like, we need help with this at 4th and Avenue, and then he pulls up and he just beats all the goons. Like, that's what he's going to be doing now.
Also, comic book accuracy in this movie. Electro, comic book accuracy. They depicted Peter Parker as he should be depicted, like a kind of a genius intellectual who's able to go into the MIT room and create a cure for like villains. A really cool scene is how Andrew Garfield was talking about how he was in a dark period of his life and he got angry and it got to a point where he wasn't pulling back his punches. Comic book accurate Spider-Man does have those dark periods in his life. Spider-Man, especially when he gets past like 30, is so strong. He actually needs to pull back his punches in order not to kill his enemies. To me, was so cool. It was so important. They did Andrew like justice to square degree. I love Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man after this movie. I love all the Spider-Mans after this movie. The smackdown Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spider-Man laid on William Dafoe's Green Goblin at the end is probably definitely top 3 best fights in all of the Marvel-verse. This was incredible.
Dude, so there's something about like characters in fiction just raging at like a villain. It's present everywhere in like One Piece, Naruto, everywhere.
It's a recurring shonen theme.
It's a shonen theme, and finally seeing Tom Holland just let loose on a villain. He hit him with like an Injustice 2 Mortal Kombat leg smackdown to end. He was literally about to finisher him with the glider, and then Tobey's just like, no. He looks at him. No words.
He just stared at him. I was about to cry. I saw it coming from a mile away. You see a lot of stuff happening in this movie from a mile away. It doesn't matter. Stabs Tobey in the back, and I'm like, no, Kylo! They literally pull I thought they were gonna pull a Kylo Ren. The new Star Wars movies wouldn't be totally terrible if they didn't decide to kill Kylo off at the end. Why did you do that, you idiots? He was the only good character, and it would have been actually cool and redeeming to have him and Rey have some kind of relationship after the end of those movies, but you just had them kiss and he dies. I thought Tobey was going to die, except the writers of this movie are brilliant, and it's
Kevin
like,
Feige
dude,
is not gonna let us down at the end of the movie.
Brilliant. They literally just stabbed Tobey for fun. They literally, for the lulz, to literally scare us. Because got up after he was done being stabbed. He's like, don't worry about it. I've been stabbed before.
We get to just see Spider-Man, like, how he's just truly a beast. Tom Holland gets shot in the shoulder and just walks it off, dude.
Bro,
he didn't even care.
Spider-Man just beats Doctor Strange, so he's like higher up on the tier list now.
Dude, Doctor Strange.
How do you do that, bro?
Oh, that was so
He beat
cool.
him in his own universe.
You literally can't even
In
fathom.
no dimension. He beat him.
Bro, why was that also one of the coolest, trippiest scenes in all of cinema?
When he breaks like the mirror of time,
mirror universe
and then
fight.
he goes back and comes out at the same time, dude. I was like, no,
Bro.
that's the coolest CGI like
Dude, actually, Doctor Strange fighting Tom Holland and like making the portal 2 portals and fighting him
and
through
then
the portals.
he's like webbing himself in the foot, dude. That was so cool.
And then Peter Parker utilizes actual math to defeat
Dude, he's like
him
using
because
math.
Peter Parker's a nerd.
Yes, dude. Everything about Peter Parker was just like times 100 in this movie, and it was so enjoyable to watch.
This movie was so good. It was so good. I loved every villain. I loved every fight.
Like the not so evil approach to handling the villains, and like Aunt May's like woke words.
Oh, that's something. I'm so glad you said that, because this is what I've been really wanting to say. Everything that happened to Peter in this movie, facts, he kind of deserved it for how hard he was being when they were casting that spell. Everything that happened to him, Aunt May dying, all of this would have been fixed and okay if Peter wasn't just stupid about the spell. If he just let Doctor Strange cast the spell like he was supposed to, he would have been living in a perfect world where only MJ and Ned knew about this, but because he was being greedy and dumb during this magic spell, he did this to himself. Let's be factual. Aunt May's death is on Peter's hands, and he had a right to feel guilty about it. That's the whole theme of this movie, is that in every timeline, Spider-Man has this incredible loss that he just has somebody ripped away from him for no reason.
That's when Spider-Man ascends to like the next tier of a character.
But they have long-lasting, really bad repercussions for this, and they come into Tom Holland's universe and help him. So yeah, they help him so that he doesn't make the same mistake that they did. It is so beautiful.
It's a really good way of quickly like allowing Tom's Spider-Man to like mature without making it like, you know, some long process. And it was insane on
screen. And also the Aunt May death, the MJ death is something that always happens, and they did it in a way so that it wouldn't seem repetitive and lame. Like, it was actually great in this movie.
Yeah.
The hot ass Aunt May.
I didn't even think she was gonna die because she was like, oh, she was just like chilling, she was fine.
Nah, I know she wasn't
picked up his
walking off
hand.
that side.
I knew.
She picked up his hand and then just blood all
I
over.
knew, like, these movies, they always troll you with the deaths. Like, if you think a character's not gonna die, then they probably will. But if you think a character is gonna die, hey, they might just be like, I've been stabbed before. It honestly was so gratifying as like, just like a fan of, I'm not like a super big Spider-Man fan. I like Spider-Man. He's like one of my favorite superheroes, but I'm not like a super fan. I'm like not totally educated on him. And I haven't even seen all of the respective movies that these Spider-Men have been in.
I've only seen Tom Holland's.
I haven't. That's the movies that I haven't seen. I haven't seen the 2 previous Tom Holland movies before this. I definitely have to go watch them. That was just so fun. It was so fun. This movie easily gets like a 10 out of 10. We got to see Venom. The Venom ending.
Post-credit scene.
Yeah, the post-credit scene. We stuck around for that.
Black suit Spider-Man like basically confirmed the symbiote got left. So there is a symbiote in the MCU now.
Venom got teleported away like everybody did. He's not from this universe, but he left behind a little dribble.
That's all you
symbiote.
need.
That's all you need. So Black like symbiote Tom Holland is
Spider-Man,
coming.
yeah.
It's coming. That arc is
So
coming,
hyped.
and I'm so excited for it.
They leave this movie with even more fan service. I thought it was over at the end.
Tom Holland and Doctor Strange were like the only relevant superheroes in the movie, and they're also like basically the only big ones left after Endgame.
I'm pretty sure that like Doctor Strange is in charge of the Avengers now, right now. At least that's what my manager told
He's
me.
in charge of like the whole universe.
Yeah.
And people give him a lot of crap because during WandaVision, he's just not doing anything, and Wanda's just going insane.
Gotcha.
So like, and they're like, bro, where's Doctor Strange at? That dude's not doing his job.
Dude, you could see he's like in his house, like
low-key a
he's
bum.
dealing. He's
He's
dealing with
low-key a
Tundra.
bum.
It's like, bro, he actually got beat by Spider-Man. He is low-key a bum. I need to go. I need to go watch his movies because like I don't like Doctor Strange like I feel like I should.
Bro, his character is not this like low-key dumb, and I'm like, bro, MCU Doctor Strange is low-key that dumb. He's always been that dumb.
All right. To finish it up, I think I'll just do final comments. This movie gave us everything we wanted, literally everything. Gave us Daredevil, gave us the symbiote preview. It gave us all the villains. It gave us everything we wanted at 9.85. It is still one of the best movies I've ever seen.
By far. Yeah.
I only got to go see this movie because these little munchkins managed to get me a ticket. So I appreciate you guys. Come here. That was awesome. Spider-Man's great. All right.
Let's get it.
Peace out.
Bye.